I'm Clark, and I love Shirley Temples. When I was little, me and my friends were at a restaurant. The server went around getting each of our drinks. My first friend got water, effortless. My second iced tea, my third Coke. Both effortless, as easy as breathing. If their orders were like breathing fresh mountain air, mine was like trying to breathe salt water. I curled and twisted around my order. I did not want to change it. I really wanted that Shirley Temple. But I pushed through my words, almost choking on them, and I got that Shirley Temple. But it was at that moment that I realized that my stammer could not be passed off as a peculiarity of childhood, that it was a real issue impacting me now. I call this moment, this realization that something is unique or different about ourselves, a Shirley Temple moment, when we truly realize, when all past events come rushing back and we realize how unique we are from all of our peers. As you can probably tell, I have a stammer. I'm one of the people that got their stammer later in life. Being on both sides of having a stammer has allowed me to look back in reflection and see how I've changed before and after my stammer. Before my stammer, I was impulsive, never thinking things through. I only looked outward, never thinking about my actions or decisions. I was the type to act and deal with the consequences. Before my stammer, I was loud and always spoke before I thought. After my stammer, I was more measured. I thought too much, opportunities were not taken. After my stammer, I looked too much inward. I questioned myself too much. I was the type to not act. After my stammer, my thoughts were loud, but my words stayed quiet. I'm an example of how one tiny little change, one tiny little impediment, disability, can completely change one's outlook on life and their actions in it. I believe in today's world, we look for solutions too fast, ways to rid ourselves of all of our problems instantly. That since we are all striving for perfection, the same version of the best lived life, we end up walking our singular path over and over again, tearing up so much that we reach our Earth's core. That since we are all taught to act the same, to not sway from the path, that we live important knowledge and meaningful experiences undiscovered, that slowly we're becoming homogenized. We are becoming the exact same. So how is this happening? Are we more homogeneous than we were 20 years ago? Well, in a study, researchers found in the period of 1945 to 2010, the discovery rate of new ideas has slowed down. I believe this relationship is caused by how homogenized we've become. And this is happening for two main reasons. The first reason we're becoming the same, homogenized, is because of social media. Filters and standards set by influencers course through every aspect of our lives. This limits our expression and makes us feel confined to a single set of values. Societies coveting the same standards is not a new idea, but it's gotten much bigger in recent years. Before, one city or region had set standards for how we dress and act. Now standards for how we dress and act are displayed internationally. Regions thousands of kilometers apart now look shockingly similar. This conforms our ideas. Not only are we being conformed in the way we dress and act, but also in the way we think. Schools are another huge contributing factor to how homogenized we've become. As kids, the first 18 years of our lives is spent with the exact same goal, and we achieve this by doing the exact same things using the exact same method. This again conforms our ideas. These are the two biggest examples of how we become homogenized, but they're present in every aspect of our lives. This is detrimental because it makes our way of thinking, our way of approaching problems, the exact same. So when we encounter some of the many modern problems we're faced with, we are left stuck floundering. We can only think of a select few solutions. So how can we undo this? How can we dehomogenize society? How can we return unique perspectives so we can enrich our communities? Anyone who is able to do something great in the field usually has a different idea or perspective than everyone else in it. As I have a stammer, I tend to look at people with similar issues. The great example for stammerers is James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader. He is someone who had his unique experiences and was able to take them and turn them to his advantage. He used his stammer as a building block to gain immense control over his voice. For the first 8 years of his life, he was unable to speak. But when he truly worked himself into speaking instead of not speaking at all, he was able to accomplish something great. We can apply what James did to our own lives. What he realized was that our weaknesses don't have to hold us back, but can be methods for us to grow. That our greatest struggles can become our defining successes. That being different does not have to be a great shame, but can instead be a jumping off point for deep and important knowledge. Before I mentioned how schools can mold students into roles that don't necessarily fit with their identity. The idea of children being molded towards a specific role is new and is unnatural. Post-industrialization, we needed work to perform the same task over and over again. Creativity or personal flair were not acceptable. Unique or unusual ways of doing things were inefficient. Before this point in history, society had always leaned towards their strengths and weaknesses. In a hunter-gatherer society, we need to operate at the peak of our field in order to survive and get enough food. Unique or unusual ways of doing things were rewarded as they brought success. This same idea now applies today. In order to succeed, we don't need rote memorization of a single task. We need to be fluid and adaptable, to be able to come up with our own way of doing things. Our school system was built for a 19th century revolution, not for a 21st century information revolution. The third thing we need to correct before we can truly dehomogenize society is our view on personal issues. Right now we have this idea that personal issues should be instantly fixed. Our society has conditioned us towards it. I break my arm, I get a cast. I get a bad grade, I get tutoring. My washer breaks, I buy a new one. But the ideas that are the most important and have the most potential for personal growth are not the ones that are easily fixed. We need to change our mindset on personal issues to learn to embrace them instead of trying to get rid of them. Circling back to the Shirley Temple moments, we all have them, be it in our past or our future, where we realize truly how unique we are from everyone else. What I want you to take away from this talk is that instead of seeing these moments as roadblocks and trying to get rid of them and instantly fix them, do what James does and see these as ways to amplify your perspective and grow your voices, ideas, and actions. Society is in a massive turning point. Problems that could spell disaster are appearing faster and faster every day. The same ideas that create these problems won't solve them. We need new perspectives, and embracing weakness, leaning into strength is the best way we can get new ideas so we can solve these many modern problems with new and unique solutions. Thank you.